100 technology scan come patent analysis reports. Of course, larger number of these has been last batch, 7th batch, which is more than 80 of them. The 8th batch is about to be started, where about 120 women will be trained on this. They cover a wide variety of areas, but you can see that pharma sector is very high. Electronic sector comes next. Let me leave out this detail. The TRIMAP program is for technology transfer for those innovations where the innovator is not willing to go forward with commercialization directly. So this year we work with TCFs, Technology Commercialization Facilitators. This program finishes 3 years, now it's under review. Once it gets renewed, we'll start the activities again in this. Under this, we have done number of technology transfers. I think 31 have been facilitated, 9 technologies have been transferred. The Citizen program is where we do give soft loans up to ₹1 crore to carry out the innovations to a larger scale. And one change that we brought in this particular case is that earlier we used to support these programs, and once the project is over, the funding accounts are done, we used to stop at this point. Now what we are doing is we are also carrying out road show to make sure that the technology that's been scaled up becomes available at commercially. And in this case, we are also looking at certain policy changes that may be needed. So to approach government agencies in case there is a policy change needed to support such activities. I'll again skip these details. Few changes that we are trying to look at this is that one is that we are within the programs of TIFAC, we are trying to bring synergy among themselves. One problem that we have been facing is that a lot of the startup companies that are coming up, they do not have assets that bank needs. The bank typically look for physical assets, but today startups are not wanting to have manufacturing facility. They work more on brain. And this is a problem that we're facing because banks start to look for assets, and that's becoming difficult. So this is an issue that we need to look at. Other problem that happens in most all the government funding scheme is the time it takes to support it. And that almost kills the innovation support because it's very important to reduce the time. So one of the steps we have taken here is that there were 2 parts of this process. Because this work with SIDBI, in this the financial part is handled by SIDBI, the technical part we handle. Now we have done is that we have agreed to do it in parallel. So as the request comes in, we hand it over to both, even if it means doing some additional work in terms of that one that is not technically acceptable, it still goes through that process of financial appraisal so that we can do it in fast. At least, suppose it's taking 3 + 3 months, we can bring it down to 3 months. This is something we are doing, SIDBI has agreed, and we've started this process already. This I was talking about our 3 programs, trying to bring synergy among them. As I said, that in industry support, the large industry, we are trying to help them through technology foresight training. For the small industries, the MSME sector, we have cluster program where we try to upgrade technology of technologically homogeneous clusters. And the other program we have is we are trying to boost export in certain sectors through technology infusion. So in the MSME cluster program, which has been around for some time, we have supported 29 MSME clusters in 6 sectors. Out of that, 22 has been completed. Earlier, we used to do hard intervention. Now we only do soft interventions. We have taken 9 new ones, so those are going on. A couple of them are already ready. So there's a wide variety of sectors that we are covering across the country. So if you look at that geographical distribution, of course, my worry is always that there is a central portion which is kind of vacant. So Madhya Pradesh is vacant, Chhattisgarh is vacant, so we are trying to see that we should also geographically cover it. Northeast, there is only 1 center in Tripura. We need to have more. The other support scheme that we have for MSME export here, due to slowdown in export or rather drop in export a couple of years back, we were asked to look at few sectors. Again, I'm skipping. These 4 sectors were identified with Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of MSME. One is the electronic system design and manufacturing, ESDM sector. The second was technical textiles. Third was essential oils. And fourth was guar gum. Each of these we were asked to look at how we can use technology to improve the export possibles. So guar gum, actually, the study report is ready. Today we are going to release that. ESDM sector I'm going to discuss a little bit. Other ones are still going on. So guar gum, actually what happened, we found that the guar, which is largely produced in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Haryana, and to some extent Punjab, we control 80% of the world's production. Suddenly it had a big jump about a couple of years back when its powder was being used in shale gas exploration in US. Because of the price jumped very high, the value jumped from 3,000 crore to about 21,000 crore. And then next year it crashed, which led to a lot of farmers suffering, and then again it started to go up. So there was a lot of ups and downs. We went into the sector, we brought all the stakeholders together, and we have identified the various critical issues. One of them, a major issue, is that value addition that is being done is mostly being done outside the country. So 80% of the raw material we produce, but the value addition which chemical processing, which boosts the price by 5 times, is all done outside. And so we also did patent analysis of this, and the same conclusion there. Our ground level findings and the patent analysis both said the same thing, that more than 11,000 patents have been filed worldwide, actually about 12,000, but India's contribution to that is less than 1%. This is, of course, not a story only of this sector, but many other sectors, and we need to think seriously how to change this, where we control the raw material, but we don't do the value addition. So this is a very important part. Of course, as I said, this is not only for this sector, but many other sectors across, if we pick up the raw materials, including iron ore and so on. ESDM sector, some of the experts are here, we had discussion. When ESDM sector we were asked, we, of course, first point was to discuss with DT. We identified few areas. But what we felt was that there was a larger context that was missing that we need to look at, and that is looking at complete education system, innovation support. All of that has to come in to make sure that electronic sector takes up, because we cannot here buy a technology and expect that we'll keep using it for 15 years. Every week, every month, there are new products coming in. So if we have to enhance the export and reduce the import, we have to do many more things, including in the education sector, innovation sector, and so on. Some of that we have already we have started some of that, but this work is going on right now. I'm again not going into details here. But one of the major issues here is that there's a cultural change that is needed also, because we don't value dignity of physical labor. And so our students do not like to go into anything which involves hardcore engineering. And so electronic sector is suffering because of that. Everybody goes to software. In fact, people who are doing chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, all of them go into IT sector. And so in the electronic sector, as well as other sectors, we need to bring dignity of labor, which actually the change starts from home, because we don't allow our children to work with hands. So we separate hand and mind, and that change we need to bring in. And of course, the education system and all that has to be done as well. So in this case, I'll talk about this a little later again. One more thing is that last time, when we organized the same event, we had exhibition of 3D printers. That was the first time our scientists got exposure to 3D printers. Since then, we have been trying to see wherever 3D printers can be used, because 3D printers is a game changer. Today, also outside, there's a 3D printer that is being demonstrated. And what you would see that the lamp that is there, the plastic thing that you're seeing is also 3D printed. In fact, in NSIT, they have MIT Fab Lab, where the students can actually do a lot of work. And due to that, they're able to come up with very innovative products. I have been interacting with them for several years now. So 3D printing is emerging as a major disruptive technology. Now, what we are trying to do is to see that in various sectors, how do we seed this technology in? Especially very important right now for custom and distributed manufacturing. So we are looking at various sectors that we have been working at, how we can do that. For example, one of the examples that I'll show you later also is Dharvi plastic recycling. All of you are probably aware in Bombay there's a huge slum called Dharvi, which is supposed to be Asia's largest slum. They have all kinds of things, but one of the things they have is plastic recycling. We're trying to see that can plastic be recycled in a way that it becomes 3D printable first, and second, if it's 3D printable, then can they make products and do value addition? And we have gone there. I'll come back to this point again. We're also looking at can rural cluster be set up on 3D printing, combining India's digital, our government's Digital India initiative, and using our postal system to supply the raw material and bring the finished good out, and the broadband that we connect can provide the design support. So using cloud manufacturing concept, can we do this? Let me come to the breeding innovator part. In this, we have initiated 2 things. One is the MSME internship program, and the second one is the Innovation Lab program. Actually, I should have talked about Innovation Lab first. What we are trying to do, let me talk about that first. What we are trying to do is to actually try to make sure that the hardware development, hardware-based innovation is as easy as software innovation, based on MIT Fab Lab and 3D printers. And just like I was showing, NSIT has a system. Due to that, the students are able to do a lot of wonderful things. We are working on this. We have gone around the country and looked at various facilities. And based on that, a draft report is ready. My feeling is that the Make in India program, and to improve manufacturing and so on will not take off unless our students learn to work with hands, learn to innovate through hardware and so on. So this will likely to be a very important part. The second part of this was to try to give students an exposure to small industry. The reason is small industry was because small industry, they get exposure to real things happening at very up close. They can see very closely as to what is happening. They can come out with problems and their solutions. So this is a two-phase program that we've started. The first phase, the students go and study the problems, and second phase, they suggest the solutions, and if you like the solution, we'll support them. So here we have actually started with 5 technical institutes. Each technical institute will support 30 students, so about 150. And thanks to our chairman, Maharashtra government is going to support 2 more institutes, so more than 200 students. But actually 200 students is nothing in this country of 1.2 billion. So we need to have 10,000, 20,000 students going into this. TIFAC does not have the scale to do that, so we need to work with other stakeholders. And I would request Secretary DST also to help in this process. We need to scale up. Then only we can change the manufacturing innovation sector in the country. Other activities, we have a bioprocessor and bioproducts program in which we have supported various projects. We also are looking at biofuels. Recently also we had a meeting on this. We have one more study doing. We're looking at gross domestic GDP and how infusion of technology helps in this. This we are doing in Andhra and now Telangana. Earlier they were all in Andhra, so now they're broken into 2, so both the states are being covered in this. Then we have some programs which I'll club under Technology for Society. One thing we're trying to do is look at disaster-prone zones and see how technology can help in improving the life there. So preliminary discussions are going on with Kinnaur districts, Himachal Pradesh, and flood-affected regions of North Bihar. We also developed a portal for assistive aids and appliances. In this case, what we have done is we have a collaborative project with Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disability. We have 4 segments of this. One is work that is done in India that is not yet commercialized. Second, technology that is available in India commercially. Third is technology that is available globally but not come to India. And then through our horizontal scanning process, what technology is likely to come. This was launched on December 3 by President of India. This is called, the site name is swavlamban.info. As I mentioned, the Dharavi cluster, actually, it's also under our Technology for Society in some sense, because we felt that one of the main issues was health and hygiene issue. So we organized a discussion on that. We brought them to Institute of Chemical Technology. We're also doing technology gap study, but as I was talking about the plastic recycling to 3D printable filament, there's a company in Pune which has been doing this. So we're likely to take the Dharavi team to Pune or bring the Pune people just in about 10, 15 days time and see the possibilities. And if something like this happens, so that the value addition happens, then the life of workers, their health, everything can improve. Because right now the value addition is very little. And I went through in fact, my whole team had first time when they went, TIFAC team went, it was very difficult to get entry into that area. It took 1 or 2 days to gain confidence. After that, now we are accepted as part of them, and we keep getting phone calls. But you can see that we are discussing here with Plastic Recycler Association. And we went through each of these, the way they work at different stages. It was very interesting. In fact, it can be a whole set of lectures on that only, so I'll skip this. In the capacity building program, one of the things that we started was to bring students into TIFAC. So we started a student industry program, and this is allowing our scientists to work on things which they are not able to spend direct time. So more than 25 students have been working on this. This continues on a wide variety of topics. One more point is international linkages. To be up to date with what is happening around the world, we have started to enhance our linkage. We are already linked with EASA, but we started to participate in an organization called Global Foresight Organization Network, GFN. First time we participated in 2013, and then next was in Seoul in Korea, so we participated in that. And this year, TIFAC plans to hold this, and we are also trying to develop a portal so that all the countries together can collaborate, because we realize that all of us were doing the same thing separately. So what we plan to do is to use this portal as a way to collaborate, and that TIFAC is doing this. In addition, we are also planning to have connections with other organizations. We also plan to host an international conference on disaster management. What we have noticed because of all these international visitors to TIFAC and TIFAC visit abroad has also increased significantly. For TIFAC, which is the organization which is looking ahead 20 years and so on, it was very important for us to connect to young people, and one of the best ways to do social media. Now more than 1,000 people have been following us. We started this about a year back, and it's quite popular actually. We have been tweeting the same things, and we see that a lot of people are following us, and the information that is being shared is very useful because latest information, very interesting information. Even one of the things that we have done, the session that we are doing on brain, is partly out of this horizon scanning process because we see a lot of activity happening in this field. So we felt that we need to organize something on that. We also started newsletters. One of the newsletters, the latest one, which is on Guargam, the green one, is in your folders. Now I come to the next part of the event, which is we're going to release few reports. One of them is on Tirupur ready-made garments cluster, which actually has a huge export that happens. I think it's around 20,000 crores. So we have gone into details of that. One of the points that was missing there was that they do not design themselves. In addition, we have identified many other things. I don't want to go into details. But outcome was that a design studio has been now agreed upon by Ministry of Textile based on this report. So what will happen is that, and we also carried out certain capacity building exercise in trying to give them training in fashion design, fashion technology design. Okay. And you were surprised to know that fashion technology design, actually, you have to do fashion forecast. And there are 12 seasons in a year. Not 3 or 4 seasons, but 12 seasons. It changes so fast. So you have to be able to foresee what's likely to change and do it fast. The designs have to be done and go into market. So it's a very short time. So we have done a couple of training sessions on this, and the design studio will help them in this process. We also done a report on plastic clusters. This is along with CPET and AIPMA. These are on the Delhi clusters. So this is again another report we are going to release. There are few recommendations of this. Again, I'm not going into details. And I'm personally interested in seeing that how 3D printers can be used here also. So, but that part has not been added into this. This was done earlier. A third one is auto components cluster in Jamshedpur. Now, auto industry in India is quite good. In component sector, you can see that global market is 7 lakh crores. Out of that, Indian share is quite high, 2.2 lakh crore. And out of that, exports are around 0.72 lakh crore. However, what has been found is that this study has been done with NIT Jamshedpur. What was found is that clusters around Tata Nagar are stagnating, partly because Tata is moving their many of the activities away from Jamshedpur. So we need to diversify. This is one of the things. And we are trying to see that some of the new initiatives that government has taken, for example, Make in India program and so on, how that auto component cluster can take advantage of that and change their product portfolio to synchronize with that. The Guargam thing I already talked about, this is the fourth one. The fifth one is the activity that was done under India ESA program with partnership with Indian Institute of Forest Management. We have Dr. Madhu Verma here from there. And this study has looked at modeling, and it's actually looking at livelihood issues based on the modeling that is being done. So this is the fifth one that we are going to release. So now I'll request that we bring the 5 reports and we do the release, and I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
लास्ट है तो वहाँ से खराब है कलर चेंज हो रहा है पता नहीं पर ये यहाँ से नहीं है तो ग्रीन कलर में जाएगा इनको पहनना कोई बात हाँ this one what is
Thank you so much, sirs. Now I would like to invite on the dais Dr. Anil Kakodkar, our chairman, TIFAC, for TIFAC Day address on Technology Vision 2035. Dr. Kakodkar, former director of BARC and ex-chairman AEC, played a key role in nuclear tests in 19... Thank you so much, sir.
Secretary DST, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Executive Director TIFAC, Professor Prabhat Ranjan,